वज़ीर ख़ज़ाना मोहम्मद औरंगज़ेब कहते हैं कि मुल्की मईशत बेहतरी की जानिब गामजन है। इस्लामाबाद में तकरीब से खिताब करते हुए वज़ीर ख़ज़ाना मोहम्मद औरंगज़ेब ने कहा कि मुल्की मईशत बेहतरी की जानिब गामजन है। करंट अकाउंट खसारे में कमी आई है। अब हमने मुआशी इस्तेहकाम की बुनियादों को मजबूत करना है।
आज जो चीज़ें एसोसिएटेड हैं ऑन द पॉलिसी रेट, दैट्स वेरी मच द पर्व्यू ऑफ द सेंट्रल बैंक, so I'm not going to talk about that, but certainly what is happening in the secondary market yields and what is important for the industry and for the consumers, which is the benchmark rate, which is a 6-month CIBOR. So if that's come down below 13%, I think we have moved in the right direction. Obviously, the large corporates here, we're talking about low-cost housing, etc., but large corporates are now borrowing at single digits. So we have moved in the right direction, and therefore this is a very timely conference because it's linked with the market cycle. And वो अभी जो मुदस्सिर साहब ने अभी बात की है around the high interest rate regime, we are back into that cycle where at least that part moves into a bit more affordable regime even before we get to the subsidy discussion. Now, when it comes to housing, like many other things, whether it's taxation, whether it's energy, whether it's SOE reforms or privatization, the what and why have been known in the country for the longest time. तो इसलिए मैं उन चीज़ों में नहीं जाऊँगा जहाँ अभी सिद्धा ने बात की, मुदस्सिर साहब ने बात की, with respect to कितनी shortfall है, और we have been talking about it for the longest time. It's always about the how part of it. And that too, I think, is encouraging. ये जो अभी आपने वीडियो देखा है, having been part of the journey myself over the last sort of 5 to 6 years, is very encouraging because ये कोई ऐसी चीज़ नहीं है which we are now triggering. Now the point is where we are, how we scale it up. From my perspective, that is again a good position to be in because foundation is there. Now more institutions have to come in and then sort of take it to the financing levels and any other thing that is associated with the bottlenecks, and I'll come back to that in a moment, कि हमने उसको कैसे resolve करना है. Coming to the PMRC journey, I think since the time PMRC came into being as a joint venture between Ministry of Finance, and I just want to be very clear कि Ministry of Finance बहुत low touch रहेगी because I want गवर्नमेंट की जो इन्वॉल्वमेंट है जितनी मिनिमम हो सके उतनी मिनिमम करें. हम पॉलिसी फ्रेमवर्क दें, हम आपको पॉलिसी कंटिन्यूटी दें, और जो भी हम आपको फर्स्ट लॉस गारंटीज़ हैं या सब्सिडी अमाउंट्स हैं वो हम आपको ज़रूर देंगे, लेकिन हमारी अमल मुदाखलत बिल्कुल नहीं होगी because it's the private sector which has to lead the country. So this came up as a joint venture between Ministry of Finance, the commercial banks and IFC, and I want to commend you because PMRC has indeed moved from strength to strength. Figures and statistics आपने खुद ही बता दी हैं in terms of the disbursements that have happened and especially in the low cost space and also from a diversity agenda, what the composition of your portfolio is. So all sounds good. Now where do we go from here? देखिए इस हाउसिंग का डायरेक्ट लिंकेज है with two existential problems for Pakistan, and I keep on talking about it and I'll keep on repeating it, that as much as we are now focused कि IMF के साथ कल क्या है, आज क्या है, immediate economic turnaround, taxation पे क्या है, energy reforms में हम क्या कर रहे हैं, SOEs के साथ क्या कर रहे हैं, privatization, two existential problems, और ये हम sequentially नहीं लेके चल सकते. ये इंतजार नहीं कर सकते कि ये 3 साल का प्रोग्राम कंप्लीट हो जाए एंड देन वी डील विद इट. वन इज पॉपुलेशन एंड द अदर इज क्लाइमेट. पॉपुलेशन रिलेटेड पहले भी बात हो चुकी है. 240-250 मिलियन नेटिजन्स, अनफॉर्चुनेटली ग्रोइंग एट 2.55%, इज नॉट सस्टेनेबल. उसके साथ जो चीज़ें जुड़ी हुई हैं और जो लिंकेजेस हैं, चाइल्ड स्टंटिंग की बात है, उसके साथ जो पॉवर्टी लर्निंग की बात है, स्पेशली गर्ल्स आउट ऑफ स्कूल, एंड द थर्ड थिंग एसोसिएटेड विद दैट, हाउसिंग. Because housing, this is not just about financing, this is shelter, this is socio-economic stability, this is everything associated with that issue, which is the population and the way we are growing. Therefore, housing is such a critical element, and to fix it, to get it right, is going to be very critical as we go forward. And the second is obviously climate. बहुत पहले भी चीज़ें हो चुकी हैं, earthquake आ चुके हैं, लेकिन 2022 के जो floods हैं, was a real wake-up call in terms of rescue, rehabilitation, reconstruction. And you mentioned the government of Sindh. I do think they've done a very, very good job in terms of at least taking the first step in terms of moving towards more resilient housing, and how they have, started moving in that direction rather than वापस जाके उन्हीं water banks पे फिर वही घर बनाने हमने शुरू कर दिए. So that is something which is again linked to